tonight. The show must go on. From the St. Regis Hotel in downtown Toronto and all across Canada, this is the CGLCC's 5th annual Black and White Gala, a night celebrating the achievements of Canada's LGBT+ community and honoring Canada's business leaders who are driving LGBT+ inclusion and prosperity. With your host, Martha Chavez. Appearances from Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, Ontario Premier Doug Ford, Toronto Mayor John Tory, Tegan and Sarah, and Rick Mercer. And special performances by Ralph, Canada's Drag Race stars Priyanka, Scarlett Bobo, and Ilona Verley, and comedian Brandon Ash Mohammed. Now, please welcome the co-founder and CEO of the CGLCC, Daryl Sherman.
Welcome to the 5th annual Black and White Gala from the beautiful St. Regis Hotel in downtown Toronto. Tonight is about celebrating our achievements and recognizing those individuals, organizations, and companies that support LGBT+ business in Canada. Thank you for being here with us, or at least here with us virtually. Given the year that we're having, we need a reason to celebrate. It's been a challenging year for so many of us, but we find the strength to overcome this. We find support in our communities, in our networks, in our families. I'm continually impressed with how our community comes together and what we've been able to achieve together. I'm amazed with those who have shown leadership in this time of crisis. So that's why tonight, we want to tell the stories from our community. Throughout the evening, we're going to be showing a series of videos that will inspire and uplift you. Today, we are connected virtually, but it's important to recognize the land I'm on tonight and where many of us live and work. We are gathered on the territory of the Mississaugas of New Credit, the Haudenosaunee, the Anishinaabe, and the Huron-Wendat. These lands are historically governed by the Treaty of the Dish with One Spoon, a treaty between those Indigenous nations that solidified their commitment to share the territory and to protect the land and water. Please reflect on how we can honor the treaty's spirit of peace, friendship, and respect. I want to highlight our sponsors for this evening. Our platinum sponsors, TD Bank Group and Skip the Dishes. Our official airline of the gala, Air Canada. Our award sponsors, EY, Accenture, RBC, EDC, and Scotiabank. Our storytelling sponsors, BDC, Uphouse, Beanfield Metro Connect. Our silver sponsors, Community One, Sun Life Financial, Johnson & Johnson, and ProColumbia. And all of our other sponsors that are supporting us. Through their generous support, they have made this event accessible to everyone to participate. But for those of you wishing to contribute, I would encourage you to visit our website, cglcc.ca/donate. I want to remind you that this broadcast is available via live captioning in 3 languages, English, French, and Spanish, courtesy of our friends at AI Media. And as we welcome your MC for tonight, I encourage you to be an active participant by using the hashtag CGLCC Show Goes On. Thank you and enjoy the evening.
Hello everyone, bonjour à tous, and welcome to the 5th annual Canadian Gay and Lesbian Chamber of Commerce Black and White Gala. I want to thank the CGLCC for bringing us together virtually and for the work you do for the LGBTQ2 communities and entrepreneurs across the country. And I want to thank all of you for being here at this event. This is an opportunity for us all to celebrate our LGBTQ2 businesses and continue to talk about the importance of having diverse voices and leaders in our business community and around the world. Je sais que pour beaucoup d'entreprises à travers le pays, cette année a été difficile. Pendant qu'on continue de gérer les conséquences de la pandémie de la COVID-19, beaucoup d'entre vous font des sacrifices énormes pour assurer la sécurité et la santé des gens. Et je veux que vous sachiez qu'on est derrière vous. Since the start of the pandemic, we've been here to lend a hand to our small businesses so you can keep your workers on the payroll and your doors open. We introduced the Canada Emergency Wage Subsidy and recently extended it to June 2021. We deferred GST, HST, and custom duties payments so you could have a bit more breathing room to cover operating costs or keep your workers employed. We created the Canada Emergency Rent Subsidy to provide easy-to-access commercial rent support to businesses going straight to tenants, not through landlords. And we made sure you have the help you need to pay your bills through the Canada Emergency Business Account. We are committed to supporting people and businesses through this crisis for as long as it takes, doing whatever it takes to get everyone back on their feet. Because your businesses help shape our communities. They create jobs and they grow our economy. So thank you for being here to celebrate the LGBTQ2 businesses across our country. Together, we will build a more resilient Canada, one that is fairer and more inclusive for everyone. Congratulations to all of tonight's nominees. Have a wonderful evening, et encore une fois, merci.
Now, please welcome your host for this evening, the grande dame of Canadian comedy, Martha Chavez.
Hello, I am Martha Chavez and I am your host tonight. I am glad to be here. You know, it's a miracle that we pulled it off during the plague. Someone said, I believe it was Darwin who said, that it is not the strongest of the species that survives, but the most adaptable. And our community has shown again and again that we can deal with whatever is presented to us. We are always not only surviving, but thriving. We are unstoppable. So the election just happened, the American election, and I'm just gonna say one thing about that. Thank God we live in Canada. Canada is the best country in the world, at least during the times of Corona, because I mean, otherwise we will live in a shithole. We don't live in a shithole, we have health care. It's great to be with people that you love and you care for during these times. It's been 7 months that we have been in the house. People complaining about masks. I don't know why people complain about masks. I love my mask. I love it. You know, it have much money I have saved on lipstick because I am a lipstick lesbian. I have saved a lot of money since I wear the mask. This is the first time I wear lipstick. This is the first time. And I was considering, you know, do an operation to remove the pelican. And I don't have to have the operation as long as I have my mask. Look. It's blingy, blingy, blingy. Some people complain. Some people say that the government wants you wearing a mask for some strange reason. Why would the government want that? When they have facial recognition software and hardware, however you call it, cameras everywhere, and now we all look like bandits. It's great to wear your mask, not only to scare the germs, but to scare religious fanatics. Now I can go around Dundas Square, and when somebody asks me if I have accepted Jesus Christ as my personal savior, I go, no. And they don't know who I am. So we have a great evening for you tonight. All of you are at home, not us, we are wearing pants. And we dressed up for you, and we made a lot of effort to make this an amazing evening. Please don't forget to visit the silent auction taking place online at www.cglcc.ch/gala. There are some great items, including 2 tickets to anywhere that Air Canada flies in the world, a trip for 2 to Colombia, and more. The auction closes tonight at 9:30 ET. Daryl mentioned that throughout the evening we'll be showcasing a series of storytelling videos. Our first video is around community, and it is brought to you this evening by Binfield Metro Connect.
I think we started CGLCC when we did because it was really a missing piece. We were at the time fighting for marriage equality on the social side, but there was not a business side, at least on a national level.
The CGLCC holds a very special place in my heart.
We're such an incredible community where people go out of their way to help each other.
It's a place to connect with other business owners. It's a place to be connected with larger business.
I've definitely gotten more work through my partnerships at CGLCC than I would have had if I just was kind of doing this on my own. So it is vastly important to my business.
When we formed the Chamber, we knew that LGBT entrepreneurs were facing significant challenges. You know, general acceptance of the LGBT community has improved significantly, but there's still a long ways to go.
We had a recent survey that showed 22,000 businesses out businesses. We know that number to be closer to 100,000. Almost half of them identified that they believe they've lost business because they're out in their business life. I think we need to give a reason for business owners to come out, show that there's businesses wanting to do business with them.
We need to come together as a community and continue to foster diversity in the workplace.
Because that's what we're here for, to create a thriving, inclusive economy. I think at the end of the day, what we're creating here is a family.
The CGLCC is family to me.
It's kind of like family, but you all help each other make money. So what can be so wrong about that?
That was moving and amazing. I will cry, but then I will spoil my makeup, and it's not every day that I'm getting makeup these days. This evening, the CGLCC is proud to present its annual Business Leadership Awards. These awards were created to honor the people and organizations who have played a special role in driving economic growth in the LGBT+ community. Our first award of the evening is the Business Leader of the Year. Please welcome Nidra Dixon, Global Supplier Inclusion and Sustainability Lead with Accenture, to present the award. Nidra!
Greetings. I know we cannot be together in person tonight, but I hope that we can come together virtually to celebrate all honorees. On behalf of Accenture, I would like to say thank you to all of our frontline healthcare workers. We are extremely grateful for everything you do each day. During COVID-19, it taught us the importance of collaboration. Accenture and CGLCC participated in a design thinking workshop to find various ways in which we could connect corporates and LGBT community to more opportunities. I hope in the future we can share some of the great thought leadership that came out of that workshop. So tonight, I have the honor of presenting the Business Leader of the Year Award. The Business Leader of the Year Award was created to celebrate a person in business who has made a significant contribution to the LGBT community in Canada. The finalists for this year's Business Leader of the Year Award, in alphabetical order, are Daryl Boughton, Executive Director of the Office of the Vice President, Equity and Community Inclusion at Ryerson University. Daryl's work at Ryerson University has challenged heteronormative narratives and systemic barriers within the academic sector. He increased positive space training for staff and advocates for more inclusive workspaces. He has brought intersectionality to the forefront and advanced inclusion for various equity groups. James Connell, Chief E-commerce and Customer Experience Officer at Roots. James is a passionate business leader using his personal and professional means to further the livelihoods of those in the LGBT community. He is a longtime supporter of numerous LGBT causes, developing campaigns, and raising funds to bring greater awareness and profile to the LGBT community. Antoine Elisham, President of Inspired Media Incorporated. Within the span of a 32-year impact on business community, Antoine created and leads the multifaceted Inspired Media Incorporated. Using media to create a closer world for the LGBT community, and through his volunteer work, Antoine champions diversity and representation in all aspects. Bobby Reset, founder of the CEO Virtual Gurus. As an unstoppable force in the Canadian startup community and a proud Indigenous woman of the LGBTQ community member, Bobby built the Virtual Gurus with the core value of building exclusivity first, breaking down barriers through championing Indigenous people and the LGBTQ community. Bobby connects freelancers with businesses, helping those in remote areas find employment. Al Ramsey, Associate Vice President, Sales and Strategy, and Head LGBTQ Business Development at TD Bank. Al spearheads various initiatives across TD Bank to support the LGBTQ community in bold new ways. In leading TD's LGBTQ plus community business development team and developing TD's Black employee network, Al channels his passion for diversity into establishing important business partnerships and mentoring young professionals. Clearly, we have some immensely deserving individuals. So this year, we have decided to change the award slightly and recognize 2 leaders, one for their efforts nationally and one for their efforts at the community level. The winner of the National Business Leader of the Year is Al Ramsey.
Wow, I am truly honored to receive this prestigious award. CGLCC is like my family. I've had a long-standing history with the Chamber, both personally and professionally. From spearheading TD Partnership over 15 years ago, to serving on their board and now sitting on its Corporate Advisory Council. This year, I also decided to become a mentor, supporting its Young Entrepreneurship Program, which has been quite rewarding. The reason why I decided to become a mentor is my passion for giving back to our community. I strongly believe in the motto, each one, teach one. So when Daryl sent an email inquiring that one of the mentees specifically asked for a Black mentor, I knew I had to say yes. Leadership matters. Representation matters. I matter. My mentee matters. It is truly imperative to continue to support the Chamber and entrepreneurs from coast to coast this great country. They're indeed the backbone of the Canadian economy, and they need our support now more than ever due to COVID. Again, I am incredibly surprised and honored to be your National Business Leader of the Year. I will represent the Chamber with great pride, and you can always count on my support. And as we say at TD, be you, be free, live forever proud. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of the evening.
Congratulations. And the winner for the Community Business Leader of the Year is Antoine Elisham.
Oh my God, are you serious? Oh my God, thank you. Thank you. I'm honored. I have worked for 32 years within this community every day, waking up because I love this community. I love you guys. I love the business community. I love our queer community. I love waking up to do, to put out good business and good media and good videos and good everything that I can get, to do out there. I have a lot of people to thank because I don't do it alone. I have an amazing team of reps and designers and writers and bloggers and editors, and they all. It's too long to thank, but I'm very appreciative for all of them because I think it's just it's a combination of everybody working together that creates success. I'd like to thank the Accenture for the award sponsor, and all the members of CGLCC and CGLCC, which has been an amazing organization to work with and attend their events. And as I mentioned to CEO Daryl last year, I have not been as inspired as how I felt at the gala last year, seeing this wonderful room of really caring, really hardworking people who represent our community out there in the business world was really, really wonderful. And thank you. I don't have much more to say.
Congratulations, Antoine and Al, and thank you to Accenture for your support. And now it is my absolute pleasure to welcome our first entertainer of the evening, Scarlett Bobo, brought to you by Pre-Colombia. Scarlett snatched our hearts on the first season of Canada's Drag Race, and from spying her Instagram, I know her performance is going to be on fire, or lit, or whatever the kids say. Anyway, take it away, Miss Bobo.
I know that I'm running out of time. I want it all. And I'm wishing they stop trying to turn me off. I want it all. And I'm walking on a wire, trying to go higher. Feels like I'm surrounded by clowns and liars. Even when I give it all away, I want it all. We came here to run, run, run. We came here to run, yeah, run. Just like fire, burning up the way. If I can light the world up for just one day, watch this madness, colorful charade. No one can be just like me anywhere. Just like magic, I'll be flying free. I'ma disappear when they come for me. I kick that ceiling, what you gonna say? No one can be just like me anywhere. Just like fire. And people like to laugh at you 'cause they are all the same. See, I would rather we just go a different way than play the game. And no matter the weather, we can do it better. You and me together forever and ever. We don't have to worry about a thing, about a thing. No. Just like fire, burning up the way. If I can light the world up for just one day, watch this madness, colorful charade. No one can be just like me anywhere. Just like magic, I'll be flying free. I'ma disappear when they come for me. I kick that ceiling, what you gonna say? No one can be just like me anywhere. Just like fire, fire. Nobody's done it. Y'all don't think I can run it, but look, I've been here, I've done it. Impossible, please. Watch, I do it with ease. You just gotta believe. Come on with me. Just like fire, burning up the way. If I can light the world up for just one day, watch this madness, colorful charade. No one can be just like me anyway. Just like fire, burning up the way. If I can light the world up for just one day, watch this madness, colorful charade. No one can be just like me anyway. Just like magic, I'll be flying free. I'ma disappear when they come for me. I kick that ceiling, what you gonna say? No one can be just like me anyway. Just like fire, fire. Just like fire.
We like each other more than we like other people, so we have no problem spending every waking minute together.
Which is a great sign.
So far.
Yep, so far. Yeah.
So my name is Ilona Fix, and this is Angela Farkas, and we often get referred to as partners in business and in life. And we own Black Market Provisions, which is a shop that focuses on good food to go and cute and rad things.
One-stop shopping. Yeah, I do remember the day that COVID hit. It was like, okay, like I think we actually have to do something here and possibly like close the shop.
Every day I sensed the stress levels of Ange and our staff just sort of increasing. And I remember being here on a Wednesday afternoon and just sort of looking at them and going like, okay, this isn't working anymore.
Things just flipped on a dime.
I think I started it a Wednesday at 1 o'clock, and by the next day at 2 p.m., the online shop was loaded and ready to go, and we had decided we were closed and we were switching to online orders.
Yeah, and curbside pickup.
I think we expected sales to kind of go from here and down, and it was almost the total opposite immediately.
It just worked.
Sales were they were good, and we were like, okay, this'll work. Still, like, we're 6 months into COVID, and I'm still seeing businesses flip what they do to try and make sure that they're going to make it through.
Hi, I'm Marc-Andre Bazergy. I am the owner of the flag shop in Montreal. COVID has indeed been quite a hit on us as we rely a lot on festivals and events. We had to reinvent ourselves. The first thing I did is noticed on some of the windows in my area these rainbow flags that kids would draw. So I came up with a similar design, This has been fantastic because the Ça va bien aller flag was pretty much our top seller at this point. The only thing I can say to all of you out there is ça va bien aller, and let's hang in there together and shop locally. All right, thanks a lot. Bye.
We're custom designers, so people usually get in touch with us to design anything really in terms of clothing.
Well, in March, our business was completely shut down, so we started a GoFundMe to raise funds to make masks for donating to frontline workers.
And to date, we've donated about $70,000 to $100,000 worth of masks.
We decided to set up online mask sales, but with a policy of donating two for every one that we sold. And so I think having a philanthropic slant to it helped us to get the business and keep it flowing, and it kept our doors open and our staff employed.
Trust your instincts and believe in yourself, believe in your ideas, and go for it, and realize that doing something for charity is not only rewarding, but it can be profitable for your business as well.
Every day is a pivot.
We're always pivoting in terms of what is legally required of us, and then also what makes us and our staff feel comfortable.
Right.
And then also the customers. Even though people are struggling and they're reaching and trying to do different things, and they're probably overworking themselves and overwhelming themselves, it's all gonna work out one way or the other. It's all gonna pan out somehow. And so people need to sort of balance the focus of that and the focus of their lives.
Your health and your mental well-being is very important for running that business. So we need to be good for everybody else too.
Thank you, BDC. Thank you very much. I usually travel a lot because of my job, but I have not been traveling at all now. The only travels I do is by bicycle, and it sucks, because when you exercise, you have to drink water, and when you drink water, you have to go pee. And in the times of the plague, it is a challenge. Like the other day, I had to go, and I stopped at the beaches in a little bathroom that was filthy. You would think that during the plague people are cleaning better, but they are not. So I go into the bathroom, the floor was sticky. It could have been anything. I opened the door of the stall, pow, with a kick. I close it with my elbows, I don't want to touch anything. I take a gander in the toilet, and it's like the 9 circles of hell of Dante's Inferno. And at that moment, I thank God that the floor is sticky, because I can just plant myself on the floor, and it's like my feet are glued to the floor, like I have suction cups on the sole of my feet, and I can just pee to my heart desire. And then when I realize that there is no toilet paper, I can just shake the chimichanga, I wasn't going to wipe with my shirt, I'm a classy broad. I wasn't going to put my leg up that thing that dries your hands. Can you imagine how would that be? And what if I like it? What if I like it? I will have to go to public bathrooms to get my kinks. Then you will see me on CP24 at night on the news with a hoodie. There goes the bathroom bandit, they will say. But nobody will know that it's me. Why? Because I am wearing my mask. It is my pleasure to welcome Zach Pedley, Partner Transaction Advisory Services, Real Estate with EY, tonight's sponsor of the LGBT Plus Business of the Year Award. Zach!
Good evening, everyone. First, I have to say how much I miss all of you. This community is family. So thank you to the CGLCC for bringing this family together tonight. We needed this. I needed this. And to all of my EY friends and colleagues who are gathered here this evening as well, thank you. Thank you for continuing to support one another during these very trying times. I am so proud of EY. Now, I could list off all of the amazing things that EY does to support the LGBT community or diverse entrepreneurs. But tonight is different. These times are different. You see, the true merits of an organization, the true culture of a company, really shine through in times of tremendous turmoil. And I'm so proud of what EY has put on display for all to see. See, when the pandemic hit, we could have put a pause on our D&I initiatives or our support of supplier diversity. But we quickly realized now was not the time to take the foot off the gas. We pivoted, we found new ways to reach entrepreneurs, whether that be through hosting webinars on how to access government funding for small businesses, or providing pro bono services to entrepreneurs who are facing distress. We even moved our LGBT pitch competition online and held it virtually from coast to coast. It wasn't all easy. We had challenges along the way. But when I look back over the year, I'm so proud of what we've accomplished as a community, as a family. So tonight, we celebrate. Once again, EY is proud to sponsor the LGBT Plus Business of the Year Awards. At EY, we believe the world is changed by entrepreneurs. We believe in you and are inspired by your courage to lead through these times of adversity. This award celebrates a business that is owned, operated, and controlled by an LGBT plus individual that has made significant contribution to the LGBT plus community in Canada. The three finalists for this year's LGBT Business of the Year Award in alphabetical order are AI Media Canada Inc. under the leadership of Tony Abrams. AI Media has been eliminating barriers to content accessibility through providing over 100,000 hours annually of capturing, transcription, and translation services to organizations around the world. Under prominent LGBT leadership, AI Media provides support to various LGBT plus organizations and celebrates all LGBT plus employees through sharing their stories. Tony Marlowe Clothing, under the leadership of Jalisa Luces Mendez. Tony Marlowe validates and affirms the genders and expressions of LGBT plus communities, particularly gender nonconforming, trans, and non-binary communities through its statement undergarments. Led by changemakers seeking fully inclusive realities, Tony Marlowe shows us that beauty is in all bodies. Pulp and Press Canada Inc., under the leadership of Michael De Lorenzi. Listed in the top 400 growing Canadian companies in 2020, Pulp and Press Canada Inc. delivers raw, organic juices to consumers from Canadian ingredients. In 2021, Pulp and Press will launch in the US online. They remain dedicated to supporting the LGBT plus community in everything they do, and actively source products from other diverse businesses. And the winner of the 2020 LGBT Plus Business of the Year Award goes to AI Media Canada Inc. Congratulations to Tony and his team.
That is amazing news. It's so amazing to have been recognized by the CGLCC 3 years after we moved to Toronto to set up AI Media. It's really phenomenal to have been welcomed with such open arms by the fantastic community that Daryl and the whole CGLCC has built over here. AI Media is really looking forward to continuing to be a core part of this community and to continue to build the supplier diversity network, but also support LGBT plus businesses right across Canada. So thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. It's an absolute pleasure to be part of tonight's Black and White Gala. While this year's celebrations look a little different, I want to thank Canada's LGBT plus Chamber of Commerce for organizing tonight's successful event. This is a time for the community to come together, to celebrate our LGBT plus businesses and everything you do to build a more diverse and inclusive economy. I know this has been a challenging time for businesses and communities. I believe our LGBT plus community will play an important role in our recovery as a province. We will all get through this together. Thank you and God bless.
Our next performer is fantastic. She's Ilona Verley, brought to you by Sun Life Financial. Ilona is also an alum of Canada's Drag Race Season 1. I love to watch her perform. Please give a warm welcome to Ilona Verley.
Wait up, don't wanna wait up for you, baby, still I wait up. Lonely in the canyon, no love. There's no love reflecting in the glow. $1 million man, show me your cup, baby, come clean. Come out of your smoke screen if you really love me. Open my eyes, babe, you bug me. Your kiss is salty. Chlorine, swimming pool, swimming pool, swimming pool, swimming pool, in the body, go deep. Oh, baby, I know where you've been, in the deep end. Swimming pool, swimming pool, swimming pool, swimming pool, in the body, go deep. Oh, baby, I know where you've been, in the deep end. Hold on. Hold on, if you let go, I can't go on. It takes two to dance. Show me your cup, baby, come clean. Come out of your smoke screen if you really love me. Open my eyes, babe, you bug me. Your kiss is salty. Chlorine, swimming pool, swimming pool, swimming pool, swimming pool, in the body, go deep. Oh, baby, I know where you've been, in the deep end. Swimming pool, swimming pool, swimming pool, swimming pool, in the body,
Because we were not able to meet in person this year, we offered the deluxe Gala at Home package to bring the gala to you. Thank you to those who purchased the pack and helped to raise funds to support CGLCC's programs. I'm here to speak to you about the Canadian Gay and Lesbian Business Education Foundation, and specifically the Foundation's CGLCC Leadership Development Fund. This fund provides opportunities and access to education, training, and research within 3 areas of focus: small and medium certified LGBT+ businesses, Canadian LGBT+ regional affiliate chambers and business associations, and young LGBT+ entrepreneurs. Tonight, we are helping to raise money for that fund. Please visit our website, cglcc.ca/donate, to learn more about how you can help to lift up the LGBT+ business community through your generous financial support. This has been an extremely turbulent year for our organisation and the members we serve. We are extremely grateful for the support you have provided so far, but with resources still scarce and a pandemic still at large, your help could not be more crucial. Now, let me tell you about how your donation can support work being done on the ground. For $100, your donation can support CGLCC in conducting a vital educational webinar, crucial as we look towards recovery. $1,000 could help to offset the cost of certification for 2 LGBT+ businesses. And $5,000 will add another seat to CGLCC's Out for Business Youth Entrepreneur Programme for 2021. Once again, you can make a donation by visiting cglcc.ca/donate and follow the instructions. We are pleased to partner with the Canadian Gay and Lesbian Business Education Foundation, CGLCC's designated foundation. As a registered charity, Community One acts as the trustees for this foundation and as such are able to offer charitable receipts for donations. CGLCC is pleased to welcome Community One Foundation to the gala again this year to have them present the annual Steinert and Frere Award. Please welcome Community One to present the award.
My name is Terry Green and this is Andrew Mainprize. We're the co-chairs of the Community One Foundation. We're honored to be here on behalf of the Steinert Ferrero Award trustee, Chris Fortamaris, who's unfortunately not able to join us this evening.
Tonight is a really special night as it's our opportunity to announce, recognize, and celebrate this year's Steinert and Ferrero Award recipient, Christopher Nakambe. The Steinert and Ferrero Award was first awarded in 2005 and is a recognition of unsung heroes in our community. Community One is honored to be the presenter of this award, which was born out of a love story between 2 men, Jonathan Steinert and Fernando Ferrero, who met in the 1980s and unfortunately both passed away long before their time, and wanted to leave their legacy with an organization that believed in championing the rights of LGBT communities in Toronto.
And this year's winner is a force to be reckoned with. Christopher has dedicated her social work career and personal earnings to supporting vulnerable LGBT+ refugees from the African continent with humanitarian assistance through the African Centre for Refugees in Ontario. Her short time in Canada, Christopher's activism and advocacy has already made a huge impact on our communities and those that she supports, building a team to help people through the immigration process and the acclimation support that as they settle into their new homes. And all of this has been done out of her own pocket. She's built and paved the way for future lives of those that would otherwise be disparaged.
It is with great pleasure that we award this on behalf of the Community One Foundation Allocations Committee and wish Christopher all the best in her future endeavors and know she will make and continue to make a huge impact for the lives of many. Thank you, Christopher. Congratulations.
Hello and greetings. My name is Christopher Nkambwe, a transgender woman activist from Uganda and now a resident in the city of Toronto, Canada. I am the team lead of the African Centre for Refugees in Ontario, Canada, which is a fully registered charity organization that supports vulnerable LGBTQ refugees from the African continent from the time they enter the country until they are integrated into the Canadian setting. At the African Centre for Refugees, we do offer newcomer settlement services, volunteer engagement programs, and career guidance workshops. I am a Women Deliver Young Leader in a class of 2018, and Women Deliver is the leading global advocate that champions gender equality of young girls and women. I as well sit on the advisory committee of the Ontario Council of Agencies Serving Immigrants, OCASI, under the Positive Space Initiative. OCASI is a collective voice of agencies serving immigrants, and it is connected to social justice and capacity sector. I am very, very much delighted to be selected as the 2020 Steinert and Ferrero Award winner, plus a cash prize of 10,000 Canadian dollars, and in recognition of my work in the LGBTQ community in Toronto, Ontario. We are going to use some of the monies to purchase office equipment like laptops to our staff members to enable them reach more members virtually during this COVID-19 pandemic era. We are also going to carry out a COVID-19 activity of distributing personal protective gears to our members in the different shelters around the Greater Toronto areas. I'm also going to use this award to further my activism project of bringing together LGBTQ activists from the African continent and the Caribbean to voice their activism experience on an international level, and also to create a network of activists to further their advocacy in their respective countries. Lastly, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Community One Foundation, especially the awards committee, the past winners of the same award, and the wonderful team of volunteers and staff at the African Center for Refugees and agencies serving immigrants like the Rainbow Railroads, OCASI, the Rainbow Connect, and the Black Cap, and other agencies. That my word for you is thank you so much for serving the community and making a better world possible for refugees and immigrants. Thank you so much, and may the good Lord bless you.
Thank you, Community One, for being such a great partner of the Chamber. And congratulations to Christopher for the well-deserved honor. Now, this is my favorite portion of the show because I get to introduce my fellow comics. I'm excited to welcome Brandon Ash Mohammed, who is kind of like my child in comedy, and he's brought to you by our friends at Johnson & Johnson. But before we bring Brandon, let me bring somebody that I have admired forever. One of my comedy idols is Rick Mercer, who will share a few words with us.
Thank you, Martha. You're making me blush already. How incredibly kind of you. You are doing a fantastic job, as always. It is so great to be here for the 5th annual Black and White Gala. I'm wearing black. I've colored my hair white. I hope you are all well, you're safe at home, and you're wearing pants. Who's to say if you are or not? These are very strange times. Obviously, in the before times, if you were going to attend a fancy LGBTQ plus gala, wearing pants was required, at least until midnight. But now, all bets are off. The theme tonight is "The Show Must Go On," which of course is an old theater term that was coined in the early 1800s. The show must go on. And now, thanks to COVID, it has been culturally appropriated by the LGBTQ plus business community. But you know what? That's okay. It may be a theater term, but I think we can all relate to the theme. The show must go on, no matter what business we're in. After all, these are difficult times. How difficult? Not a single person has appeared in public in the last 6 months without saying, "These are difficult times." It's kind of replaced "hello, how are you?" or "you up?" But we carry on, no matter what, which is what we are doing here tonight. As my dear old, now deceased grandfather used to say, it'll take more than a pandemic to stop the homos and the Lizzies from having a good time and supporting a tremendous cause. Of course, he said that during the Spanish flu. And now, before I go, there are so many talented people performing tonight. I can't sing, I can't dance. So I would just like to leave you with a traditional Irish toast. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face. May you always remember your mask when you get out of the car. And may you have an abundance of hand sanitizer, the good stuff, not the soapy stuff. We don't like that. And now, Please put your recently sanitized hands together for Brandon Ash Muhammad.
Oh my God! I didn't expect Is it the CGLCC is here? Oh my God! You guys are early. Hi. It's so nice to see everyone. I am so happy to be here. Thank you to the CGLCC for having me. I love it. I love it. I'm so grateful for this experience. I'm sorry we all can't be together right now. And I want to also give a shout out to one of our sponsors, Johnson and Johnson. Thank you for sponsoring us and making this happen. I put some baby oil in my hair earlier today to add some shine for you guys. Ooh, I look like a young Willow Smith. I know some of you guys know who I am. Some of you guys don't know who I am. For the guys that don't know who I am, or people, I didn't mean to gender. For the people who don't know who I am, I'm comedian Brandon Ash Muhammad. I know some of you guys saw me and you're like, it's not Lenny Kravitz if he chose food instead of music. No, it's something better. We are here in my bedroom. I'm doing stand-up in my bedroom with no audience, and it's gonna be an interesting experience. So hopefully you like it. If you don't, I'm sorry. It's a weird time. It's a weird time. So let's get into it. I'm again in my bedroom. You can tell how I'm doing in quarantine because how well I'm doing in quarantine because I've named this curtain. Her name is Fanta. Mainly because she's orange. Yeah. You can also really tell how someone's doing in quarantine based on what they have at their desk. Like right now, I have hot sauce, antacids, and a bottle of gin. That's what I got, baby. It's a party. It's a party. I sip the hot sauce, then I take the antacids, and then I wash it down with this. No, that's not actually what I was doing. It's more like that. It's more like use the hot sauce, drink some gin, and then I'm like, I gotta take this. I'm getting old. I'm getting heartburn now. Ugh. I hope everyone's having a really good quarantine. I'm having a really fun time. I'm honestly having a really fun time. I'm spending a lot of time with my grandmother, and that's really fun. Me and my grandmother were very close. It's really fun. It's just like my favorite thing my grandmother does is when she watches the news because she blends the stories together. So I'll give you an example. Sometimes I'll come home and she'll be like, Brandon, did you hear? Celine Dion releasing a new album. And I'll be like, damn. And she'll be like, yeah, it's called the Trans-Canada Pipeline. And I'll be like, oh my God, okay, Nana. My favorite time she's blended the news is when, I think it was 2 weeks ago, or maybe it was a couple months ago, I don't know, but I remember she was like, Brandon, did you hear? They're raising the price of Netflix. And I was like, oh shit, and she was just like, that damn dog forward. I was like, okay, Nana, okay, calm down. As you detected before, my grandmother has an accent. You're like, oh, she's Jamaican. I thought so. No, I'm not Jamaican. I am Trinidadian. I'm Trinidadian. I'm a Trinidaddy. A lot of you guys are like, what's the difference? Okay, the way I can explain it to you if you are not Trinidadian is just like, I guess like Trinidad is like Star Trek and Jamaica is like Star Wars. Okay, so like Star Wars is like Jamaica because like Jamaica is like the bigger one. It's the most successful one. It's the blah 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 blah. And like Trinidad is like Star Trek just because it's so much better. I'm joking. I love all the Caribbean. We're all one. I love everyone. I just wanted to give a joke to the Star Trek fans because I like Star Trek. It's fun being Trinidadian. It is very fun being Trinidadian. I will say that a lot of people don't know where it is half the time. If you don't know where Trinidad is a small Caribbean island right across from Venezuela. Our biggest exports are coconuts, oil, and coconut oil. So we're like really rich right now. We're like so rich. We're also known for our literature. Mainly the 21st century poet, Nicole Minaj. We love her. We love her. In Trinidad, I'm what's known as Dagla, and that describes a Caribbean person who is of mixed Indian and African ancestry. Very beautiful. Thing is, some people don't know that I'm Indian, and I'll hear them say things like, I don't like Indian people, they smell like curry, and I'm just like, white people, y'all don't smell that good either, okay? Okay, like, white people, like, I know you don't like the smell of curry, but I'm just like, y'all don't smell that good, okay? Like, no one's trying to smell like white scents either, okay? Like, no one's going down to Bath and Body Works and trying to get a candle that smells like the Calgary Stampede. Yeah. Think about it. All the best scents have ethnic names, because the best scents are like Hawaiian Breeze, Tropical Summer, Lavender. Yeah. It's all of them. I think the last one's Indian or something. Oh no. Oh no. I don't know. I don't know. But I'm glad that, back to quarantine, I'm glad that we are having all of this time. I'm glad we're having all of this time. You know, a lot of people had things delayed or canceled. I remember I was supposed to go to see some shows on Broadway this year. Everything got canceled. It's just sad. It's just sad. I read that Broadway is not reopening until May of 2021. Yeah. That is 8 months for regular people and 350,400 minutes for Broadway fans. Yeah. I had to do a rent joke. This is a gay show. We needed that. We needed some rent jokes. That's what we needed. I've been Brains and Ash Mohammed. Thank you so much. And good night, CGLCC. Bye, everyone. Have a really good show. Thanks, Johnson & Johnson.
Out for Business, CGLCC's Youth Entrepreneur Program empowers young LGBT+ entrepreneurs. It is a program that is designed to help uplift new LGBT+ businesses and foster greater diversity and inclusion across Canada's economic landscape. With the amazing and consistent support of their one-on-one mentors, these young entrepreneurs are guided through a 12-month program that identifies areas for improvement, forms competitive strategies, gives them access to new networks and funding, and scales their ideas to help them thrive in a competitive market. Launched in 2017, the Out for Business program helps a new group of young entrepreneurs each year. I would like to thank our entrepreneurs for being such innovative leaders in their community, and of course, all of our mentors who have dedicated their time and energy to making this program so valuable. I would also like to acknowledge the amazing partners who have made this program possible: TD Bank Group, Scotiabank, and Higgins & Burke Naturals. Please join me in welcoming our 2020 Out for Business cohort.
Hi, I'm Alex Norris.
My name's Dustin Blondin.
I'm Sophie Edwards.
Hello friends, my name is Tim Campbell. I'm a social media marketer.
I'm a visionary, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm an artist.
Picture a negotiator. What do they look like? What do they sound like? Recognizing that so few of us see ourselves as negotiators inspired me to create Launch Negotiation.
We have researched the idea, understood the idea, and even developed an algorithm. The next step is execution.
I wanted to create a safe space where queer musicians can have a platform to be their true, authentic selves.
I'm interested in making things that are artful and that also have a certain honesty and realness to them.
Photography doesn't have to be a science. It's a feeling,
and emotion I try and capture with each and every client I work with.
We're serving a completely untapped market of millions of transmasculine individuals.
There's a serious gap of knowledge of diversity in healthcare across this country. Just Be Consulting is going to lead the way in creating a safer healthcare experience for marginalized Canadians.
I'm starting a private counseling practice that will focus on providing online therapy for trans people. COVID-19 has more people looking to access therapy online on an ongoing basis.
So it's been a very different year. Suddenly I have to completely change everything, but we are adapting.
I'm not letting COVID cancel me like it did the event industry this year. I'm just finding new ways to grow.
With all these new clients, I need to scale my business.
How can we get out there? How can people see us more?
Having access to a mentor who understands the unique challenges presented to our community would be instrumental as I continue on my journey of self-acceptance.
And it is so incredibly important and I think magical to be connected to other queer people who understand that intersection of being queer and in business.
With this mentorship program, I believe that it will give me the push that I need.
I hope by the end of this program, I can be a mentor for someone that is the same position that I am right now.
I hope you'll support me in supporting others.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks so much.
And hope to talk to you soon.
It's now my pleasure to introduce Steph Morgan, Vice President of RBC Ventures, the sponsor of the LGBT+ Youth Entrepreneur of the Year Award.
Good evening. On behalf of RBC, I want to tell you how proud we are to support tonight's gala for the 5th year in a row. Even though this year's event is virtual, we all made it, and we're proud to be a founding partner of the Canadian Gay and Lesbian Chamber of Commerce's Supplier Diversity Program since it was first created in 2014. Diversity and inclusion is more than one of our core values at RBC. It's in our DNA. Any organization's success depends on the health and prosperity of the communities it serves. We want to strengthen social and economic development through partnerships, volunteerism, sponsorships, and education, including our $500 million youth initiative, Future Launch. We have a special commitment to the LGBT+ community, including enhancing recruitment and career opportunities, identifying and developing strategies for LGBT+ clients and businesses, and strengthening partnerships with diverse suppliers and expanding LGBT+ supplier diversity efforts. We do this not simply because it's a moral imperative or makes good business sense, both of which are true, but because we, along with many others online and organizations like the Canadian Gay and Lesbian Chamber of Commerce, know that by coming together we can go further to create and sustain economical and societal change. And we're proud to partner with the Chamber to make a difference. It's important to recognize young entrepreneurs who have made a significant contribution to the LGBT+ community here in Canada. This award recognizes outstanding achievement by an LGBT+ young entrepreneur who best exemplifies the qualities of effective leadership and innovative thinking, demonstrates potential for growth, and has shown commitment to both the LGBT+ community and the broader community. The 3 finalists for this year's Young LGBT+ Entrepreneur of the Year Award, in alphabetical order, are Dustin Bachman, Executive Producer and CEO of Rebellious Unicorns Production Company. Dustin created Rebellious Unicorns Production Company to connect the members of the LGBT+ community in Kelowna, British Columbia, through focused events and experiences. Over the years, he has launched several business lines to support that mission, finding innovative ways to build a stronger community. Kaylee Gilchrist, founder and CEO of Nona Vegan Foods. Sauce boss Kaylee founded Nona Vegan Foods to share her love of vegan Italian food. While selling her sauce at hundreds of stores across Canada and working on expanding her product line, Kaylee mentors young entrepreneurs and runs an entrepreneurial group. Kaylee recently launched Nona in the US. Michael E. Solomon, CEO of Michael E. Solomon Professional Corporation. Michael is an accomplished paralegal, business owner, and mortgage broker who works more than 60 hours a week, growing the company to 8 employees in less than 3 years. Through his work, philanthropy, and activism, Michael merges leadership into all areas of his lifestyle. And the winner is, let me get my envelope. Dustin Bachman, Executive Producer and CEO of Rebellious Unicorns Production Company.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. Thanks to RBC for sponsoring the award, and thank you to the judges who have selected me this year as the recipient for the Young Entrepreneur of the Year. I know it's been a challenging year for all of us, and I feel like the arts and entertainment community is it's really struggling, and we're trying everything we can to keep it alive, because if we're trapped indoors, we need some type of arts and entertainment to really keep us happy and keep our mental health in a good state. And a big shout out to our team at Herbalife Unicorns, who has been persevering through all the changes. I mean, every time we try and do something, it seems like there's new orders coming out, and this really means a lot to be recognized by the CGLCC on this award. So thank you for that.
Congratulations, Dustin, and thank you, RBC. Now it is my pleasure to welcome Rupert Hahn, Regional Manager LGBTQ2+, Business Development with TD Bank Group, Platinum sponsor of this year's gala. Rupert!
The COVID-19 pandemic harshly affected small businesses, the backbone of Canadian economy. It underscored the importance of strong partnerships to support over 28,000 LGBTQ2+ owned businesses in Canada and 435,000 Canadians that are employed by them. It is great to see that TD, as a founding member and platinum sponsor of the Canadian Gay Lesbian Chamber of Commerce, continues to evolve this partnership year over year. We've reached a number of significant milestones, and we will continue growing together. I'm proud to say that TD supported 83 Pride festivals and over 160 LGBTQ2+ community organizations across North America. And now, as the lives and businesses are disrupted by the pandemic, TD stands shoulder to shoulder with the communities that we serve through the TD Community Resilience Initiative, TD Ready Commitment, and a dedicated team that works across North America to support the needs of our LGBTQ2+ customers. Despite an immensely challenging year, I'm grateful that today we're able to get together to celebrate the excellence of many of our guests and nominees, albeit virtually. Please enjoy your evening, and especially the performance from our fabulous headliner Ralph, a Juno-nominated singer and songwriter, putting our very own Toronto's pop scene on the map.
Floating on the waves, I'm good at waiting for a change, but I'm only human, babe. Don't make me wait all day, oh. So come on, give it to me. The shoes, the rings, the Chanel choker, give it to me. The loft with a view and the limo chauffeur, give it to me. A good bottle of red is split with my friends. Give it to me, G-I-M-M-E. Give me all of the money. I've been P-A-T-I-E-N-T. That spells patient, I'm so patient. You know what they say, do the work and you'll get paid. I've been P-A-T-I-E-N-T. I'm so patient. So give it to me. I'm so patient. Give it to me. I keep on holding out for more, but I've got this feeling I just can't ignore. I'm only human, babe. Don't make me wait all day, oh. So come on, give it to me. The shoes, the rings, the Chanel choker, give it to me. The loft with a view and the limo chauffeur, give it to me. A good bottle of red is split with my friends, give it to me. G-I-M-M-E, give me all of the money. I've been P-A-T-I-E-N-T, that's most patient, I'm so patient. You know what they say, do the work and you'll get paid. I've been P-A-T-I-E-N-T, I'm so patient. So give me all the clovers and the horseshoes too. When's that good luck gonna come through? Give me all the clovers and the horseshoes.
Hey, what's up? My name is Ralph, and this is Keegan, and this is Lewis, and we're gonna play some songs for you tonight. So sit back and relax. This next song is called Cold to the Touch. And it is about a hot summer fling going cold. I hope that none of you know what that's like.
And I know what'll happen if I let you come around. Don't wanna hurt you, never meant to hurt you. Gonna cross the line just like last time. Leave your heart around. Don't wanna break you. Oh, I know you want it. I know you want it. Oh, tonight I need it, but I'm gonna let you down. Don't wanna hurt you, just like I did before. Remember the empty words, yeah. Why you keep coming back for more? Not looking for love. Hate to say it, but it's time you gave it up. Just trying to be honest, I'm not what you wanted. Not looking for love. You leave my body cold to the touch. Just trying to be honest, I'm not what you wanted. Just trying to be honest, I'm not what you wanted. Had a sweetheart summer, having you hanging around. Don't wanna waste your time, never meant to. But if you keep on swimming in these waters, you're gonna drown. Oh, I know you want it. I know you want it. Oh, tonight I need it. Come on, but I'm gonna let you down. Don't wanna hurt you, just like I did before. Remember the empty words, yeah. Why you keep coming back for more? Not looking for love. Hate to say it, but it's time you gave it up. Just trying to be honest, I'm not what you wanted. Not looking for love. You leave my body cold to the touch. Just trying to be honest, I'm not what you wanted. I know you want it. Oh, tonight I need it. Come on, but I'm gonna let you down. Don't wanna hurt you, just like I did before. Remember the empty words, yeah. Why you keep coming back? Not looking for love. Hate to say it, but it's time you gave it up. Just trying to be honest, I'm not what you wanted. Not looking for love. You leave my body cold to the touch. Just trying to be honest, I'm not what you wanted. Just trying to be honest, I'm not what you We have one more song for you, and this is a dance song. So if you were sitting, I want you to stand up and dance with me. And yes, I can see you, so I can see you when you're not dancing. And we're gonna chat after this. So this song is called Gravity, and it's our last song. Didn't think I was ready for love again. Every time I fall, I get my heart broken. But you've been making me rethink everything. This feeling you've created is oh so complicated. Should I let go and lose control? Lose control. Should I let go? Will you catch me if I flow? It must be gravity, 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 yeah. Pulling you to me, you to me, you to me, yeah. Lose my breath in your atmosphere. No oxygen up here. Must be gravity, gravity. Will you catch me if I flow? feet, off my feet, yeah. Gravity, it's pulling you to me and I can't breathe. Gravity, it lifts me up and knocks me off my feet, yeah. Gravity, it's pulling you to me and I can't breathe. Will you catch me if I fall? Will you catch me if I fall? It must be gravity, gravity. It must be gravity, gravity. Pulling you to me, you to me. Lose my breath in the atmosphere. No oxygen out here. Must be gravity, gravity. Will you catch me if I float? Thank you so much.
That was amazing. Thank you, Ralph. And thank you, TD, for your ongoing support of the LGBTQ plus community and the Chamber. It is my pleasure to welcome Todd Winterhall, Senior Vice President, Communications and Chief Strategy Officer with EDC, tonight's sponsor of the Corporation of the Year Award. Give it up for Todd Winterhall.
Bonjour tout le monde, c'est Todd Winterhall d'Exportation et Développement Canada. EDC is excited to be sponsoring the 5th annual CGLCC Gala and Business Leadership Awards, and is honored to present this year's National Corporation of the Year Award. Inclusion, diversity, and equity are key tenets of EDC's corporate strategy, and they make us a stronger and more successful organization. En fait, une forte pratique de la diversité nous permet de mieux soutenir tous les exportateurs et investisseurs internationaux du Canada. The CGLCC's National Corporation of the Year Award is given to a company that has demonstrated its commitment to the LGBT plus community by providing programs or services specific to the community, including their own employees. The 3 finalists for this year's National Corporation of the Year Award, in alphabetical order, are LinkedIn Canada. LinkedIn has a strong record of supporting the LGBT plus community through employee efforts and external partnerships with LGBT plus organizations. LinkedIn has a goal to diversify, which is demonstrated through its new diversity, inclusion, and belonging strategy, and through efforts to increase female leadership, all in the course of the last 2 years. Scotiabank. Scotiabank demonstrates consistent commitments to global LGBT plus inclusion and was the first Canadian bank to adopt the UN LGBTI standards of conduct for business. Scotiabank works to advance diversity and inclusion priorities and creates welcoming spaces through its global LGBT plus ally certification program. TD Bank Group. TD's support of the LGBT plus community has been long-standing. TD is unique in North America in having a dedicated team of regional development managers to support the specific needs of its LGBT plus customers. TD is proud to develop their LGBT plus talent and to support a multitude of LGBT plus organizations. Without any further ado, please join me in congratulating this year's winner, Scotiabank.
Thank you very much. This is such a proud moment for all Scotiabankers, I have to say. And I know that this evening there's so many leaders at home watching the gala. And I have to tell you, like, in the event that we were the successful winners, we did ask Mr. Kevin Teslick, the Executive Vice President of the Canadian Business Banking, to accept the award on behalf of Scotia and to share some pre-recorded remarks. So at this point, I really would like to, and very proudly, pass this over to Kevin.
Thank you very much. And thank you, Val, for your leadership on driving inclusion for the LGBT plus community at Scotiabank. I am incredibly honored to be part of this evening's virtual celebration and humbled to accept this award on behalf of the Scotiabank team. This award is a true reflection of the unwavering commitment, passion, and dedication of our many outstanding colleagues at Scotiabank who work tirelessly to ensure that we continue to advance LGBT+ equality and inclusion throughout our company. I would like to give special thanks to John Doig, the bank's global LGBT+ executive champion, as well as our leaders Dominic Cole-Morgan, Brett House, and Sloan Muldoon, who are all watching tonight's special celebration. They have each done a fantastic job representing the bank through our ongoing partnerships with LGBT+ communities. I would also like to acknowledge our key partners at the Chamber, including Daryl Sherman, among many others. Thank you for your leadership and continued commitment to ensuring diversity and inclusion is reflected in how we operate and do business as a bank. As the leader of Scotiabank's business banking portfolio, I recognize the vital role the Canadian business community plays in making a difference. I'm proud to share that Scotiabank was the first Canadian bank to adopt the United Nations Global LGBTI Standards of Conduct for Business, demonstrating our continued commitment to diversity, inclusion, and human rights at the highest levels of our bank. This adoption complements our commitment to advancing global LGBT+ inclusion through initiatives such as our employee resource group called Scotiabank Proud, which has active chapters across our global footprint, our gender transition in the workplace guidelines, our global mandatory inclusion training, and our LGBT+ allyship certification program. In 2020, Scotiabank also became a founding member of the Partnership for Global LGBTI Equality, a coalition of organizations committed to accelerating LGBT+ equality and inclusion globally. This valuable partnership enables us to collaborate with the World Economic Forum, advance our commitment to the UN standards, and drive our LGBT+ inclusion roadmap. While our efforts have certainly put us on the right path to promoting inclusivity, I also recognize that there are many more opportunities to drive further change. Scotiabank is committed to strengthening these efforts and continuing to foster a safe and inclusive environment for employees, customers, and LGBT+ communities in Canada and across the globe. On behalf of our entire team at Scotiabank, thank you once again for this wonderful recognition.
Hi, Mayor John Tory here, and I want to welcome everyone to the 5th annual 2020 Black and White Gala. Normally we'd be in some hopping spot in downtown Toronto this evening, but like everything, this gala has been shifted to a virtual format. And the theme for this year's event is "The Show Must Go On." What a great theme that is, because that's the way we have to think in the face of these very difficult times. I frankly can't think of a more appropriate theme to describe the strength that our community, and frankly the strength that your community meaning the LGBT community plus, displays in the face of immensely challenging circumstances. So what we have tonight is a night virtually of storytelling, of celebration, of entertainment, and of recognition. And I want to extend my personal congratulations to all of the nominees for the Business Leadership Awards. There really are some great stories to be told, and it is such a great thing that this organization is really coming together and gaining in strength and recognition and respect, and in the service that it can offer to its members. And so I want to wish all LGBT plus businesses the best for the year ahead. Thank them for their resilience and for their entrepreneurship and for the great contribution that they continue to make to the well-being of Toronto and of Canadians, people right across the country. Thank you and have a great evening.
Hi, I'm Jaleesa Lucis Mendez. I'm the founder of Tony Marlowe Clothing. So I believe, an entrepreneur's role in building community and facilitating change really comes down to how they do their business, right? Like, so for example, I, as much as possible, buy local, POC, Black, Indigenous, queer, female, etc., differently abled. So it can be something small like that to something as big as totally, restructuring the company to hire more inclusive and diverse people or better policies.
My name is Sophia Stone, and I am the principal at Indie Group and the founder of Indie Tech. Everyone has a role. Your role might be writing letters. Someone else's role might be protesting in the streets. My role is creating and affecting change through business. I think we can't have one or another. I think that they are all needed.
I'm Bobby, the founder and CEO of Virtual Gurus. I think one thing that we can do is we can all kind of pass it down the line and try to mentor somebody who has a business idea, who is just starting out their business. If I would have had a mentor when I was first starting Virtual Gurus, I think I would have been much further along than I am now. But having that support goes a long, long way.
It starts with you, and it's a matter of bringing your own values to your actions at work. So which policies you get behind, which ones you push forward.
Every entrepreneur should try to make an impact, whether it be putting your diversity statistics on your website to, getting out there in the community and getting involved a lot more.
If it's not embedded in your culture and you're just doing it for branding, it will come across as hollow.
Put your money where your mouth is, and if we're a small business and we can do that, then every business can do that.
What a powerful and compelling video. It is my pleasure to welcome Sloan Muldoon, Senior Vice President, Retail Performance with Scotiabank, tonight's sponsor of the 2020 Legacy Award. Give it up for Sloan!
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sloan Muldoon, and on behalf of the entire Scotiabank team, I am so pleased to join you tonight for this year's virtual celebration. At Scotiabank, we have a long history of being a champion for diversity and inclusion and share an unwavering commitment to advancing equality for the LGBT plus community. As active allies, we recognize that this means taking meaningful steps to ensure our employees, customers, and communities are treated with dignity, fairness, and respect. Throughout our company, we are proud to foster an environment where everyone is encouraged to be their authentic selves and reach their full potential. And we're also proud to have a long-standing partnership with CGLCC as a founding sponsor of its LGBT plus youth entrepreneur program, a program that empowers LGBT plus youth and provides them with guidance, resources, and support to establish and grow their own businesses. On that note, I'm honored to present this year's Legacy Award. Sponsored by Scotiabank, the Legacy Award recognizes an organization or individuals who've made a significant contribution to the LGBT plus business movement in Canada or globally. This year's recipients are being acknowledged for the tremendous work they do in creating change for the LGBT plus community and inspiring LGBT plus people around the world. Tegan and Sarah are role models as women and members of the LGBT plus community. The Calgary-born sisters, my home city, began writing music at the age of 15. Navigating sexism and homophobia in the entertainment industry, the sisters adapted and showed time and again that it's okay to be who you are. They followed their ambitions, which has led them to be the critically acclaimed musicians and activists that they are today. With 9 studio albums and a best-selling memoir, Tegan and Sarah have chosen to use their platform to advocate for the lives of LGBT plus women and girls. They have shown young people and adults alike that it's possible to live authentically and believe in your dreams. Their journey of growth led them to create the Tegan and Sarah Foundation, supporting LGBT plus women and girls in so many ways, from summer camps to queer health access. Tegan and Sarah also continue to lay foundations for community building, and their advocacy through the business and nonprofit sectors inspire confidence in budding LGBT plus entrepreneurs. Tegan and Sarah are leaders who are guiding the way towards a better world, showing the community that anything is possible. They take their growth one day at a time, and just like the title of their latest album, at the end of each day, they say, "Hey, I'm just like you." Congratulations to this year's winners of the CGLCC Legacy Award, Tegan and Sarah.
Hi, everyone. Tegan and I are so honored to be recognized by the CGLCC, and I was personally thrilled to have an occasion to pull out one of my blazers after 8 months of dressing like a depressed college student. For much of our 20-year career, Tegan and I have identified proudly as many things. Obviously, we're both queer, but we're also business people. We have always been entrepreneurial and ambitious and have loved finding strategic and exciting opportunities to support the causes and communities that we care deeply about. The Tegan and Sarah Foundation, which we started 4 years ago to support LGBTQ women and girls, has given us a new way to focus our efforts and has allowed us to redistribute wealth back into that community, finding ways to use our existing business relationships in the music industry and the entertainment industry to bring new resources and support to the grassroots organizations that we love has been one of the great joys of our career. We believe in lifting up and amplifying the work of our community leaders, and that is what makes this recognition from all of you such a big deal. Thank you for recognizing the work that we're doing, and enjoy your gala.
When they play Footloose, it feels like everyone gets a little chuckle because you think back to that show and how it seems so unreal. But yeah, that's the reality of today, I guess. We don't have no dancing.
Greetings and welcome everyone to Club 200. Yeah.
Well, I've been performing for over 20 years. Been a regular staple of trying to help people get through the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. So tonight we are doing a viewing of a movie. It is a fundraiser for our local chapter of the International Court System. I was really worried about the people that, don't have someone or an avenue or someone to talk to. That's what really worried me the most, is the people that were by themselves. Places like Club 200 are the only places where they have social interactions with other people. So it's kind of like, when you take away this, you're taking away a lot from people. It's so important within the queer community, especially with the business community as well, to support each other, because this is not a time for us to be trying to take out each other. We need to stand supported and united and continue to work towards getting through this.
Hi, I'm Matt Armet. And I'm Tyrell Witherspoon. And we are the husbands who created the social distance dances on Instagram. I was hoping that people would just be able to watch these and smile and have a good time. And originally they were just meant for our friends and to be silly.
And then it just spread from there, and we started getting so many more people following us, and then news outlets were like, we want to do a story. We were like, okay, I guess we're famous for dancing in our kitchen now.
Yeah, and we got so many messages from people that were just so grateful and said that, they look forward to our videos every night or when they wake up in the morning.
So I think at the beginning of COVID, we saw a lot of our friends who were critical workers kind of rally behind, this greater good. So our team really admired that over at Uphouse, and we thought we might be able to help kind of get that message across. That's how Frontline Friends was born.
Christy is a nurse. She helps patients at the hospital.
We created coloring book illustrations that sort of followed critical workers, created empathy for them, made kids understand their jobs, and then also understand that their jobs that were very important at this time were just to stay home.
The show must go on. We have to, in some ways, we have to try and do our best to keep things moving. At the same time, we've got to do it in a safe manner. You just have to wait for the day that we all come out of it, because it is coming. We just don't know when, and we just have to be optimistic to hope that it's a closer tomorrow than we're being told.
Bonsoir and good evening. My name is Craig Landry, and I'm the Executive Vice President of Operations here at Air Canada. The Canadian LGBT+ Chamber of Commerce has as its key message to create a thriving and inclusive Canadian economy, one connection at a time. As an airline, this same message resonates strongly with all of us at Air Canada. We believe travel is a crucial building block to increasing tolerance and breaking down barriers. Seeing the world through other cultures, other people, and other customs fosters an increased understanding and a spirit of inclusion, one connection at a time. Beyond the public health crisis of COVID-19, the pandemic represents a staggering business challenge to our airline. And while we call for your support, we also know that many of the Chamber's members also need our support and our leadership. There are over 28,000 LGBT+ owned businesses in Canada. These businesses generate in excess of $22 billion in economic activity and employ nearly 500,000 Canadians. The combined business acumen and leadership strength represented by the CGLCC certainly gives me confidence that we have all we need to engineer a strong and healthy recovery. We welcome all Canadians at Air Canada, as employees, as suppliers, and as customers, as we believe in equal business opportunities, regardless of one's sexual orientation or gender identity. Diversity and inclusivity are key pillars of our employment culture, and we take those words seriously. We're very proud that our hard work has been recognized and that Air Canada has been named one of Canada's top diversity employers for 5 years in a row and counting. And while some days it feels like COVID-19 is throwing everything it has at us, I know that the strength, talent, and resilience of our team, which includes so many members of the LGBT+ community, will help us recover strong together. Tonight, we celebrate the achievements of the Canadian LGBT+ Chamber of Commerce, and we celebrate you, the members, builders, and leaders of the Chamber. And so on behalf of all of us at Air Canada, thank you for this opportunity to say a few words and to express my personal pride in our partnership with the Chamber and in supporting tonight's Black and White Gala as its official airline. Please now join me in welcoming someone whose charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent helped her snatch the crown at Canada's Drag Race earlier this year. Now, what's her name? Please welcome Priyanka.
Hi everybody, it's me Priyanka. What's my name? Priyanka, the winner of Canada's Drag Race. That's me. I want to thank the Canadian Gay Lesbian Chamber of Commerce for having me perform at their 5th annual Black and White Gala. I also want to thank Air Canada, the official airline of the gala, and also congratulations to all the nominees tonight. Shall we dance?
I'd heard goodbye, goodbye, over and over I went hollow. I lost my mind, life was a bitter pill to swallow. And though I wanted affection, I was tired of rejection, I kicked the habit. Yes, I put love on the shelf and agreed with myself I'd never have it. It's like you knew, and you came out of nowhere and into my life. It took you a while, but you found me. Now I'm sure that I'm gonna survive. And it started with a hello. Take the lead and I will follow. I can love you for the rest of my life. Don't you ever let me go. I was behind, now I wish I had fasted forwards. All of this time, you have been right around the corner. 'Cause I was a fool for believing there was no one who could change my life. 'Cause now you've arrived, you revived me. Now I'm sure that I'm gonna be fine. And it started with a hello. Take the lead and I will follow. I can love you for the rest of my life. Don't you ever let me go. Don't you ever let me go. I found my fantasy. Remember the day when I heard you say hello. Take the lead and I will follow. I can love you for the rest of my life. Don't you ever let me go. And it started with a hello. I can be a superhero. I can love you for the rest of my life. Don't you ever let me go. Don't you ever let me go.
So for those of you that have been to the gala before, or those that know me personally, we're never on time, and clearly this year is no exception. So I know that we're a little late here, but I'm going to ask that you indulge me for a couple more minutes as I give you some very important thank yous. I first want to thank each of the entertainers for sharing their time with us, and for Martha for being with us again this year, and for being such an amazing MC. To the St. Regis for hosting us here this evening, and the talented production team. I want to thank the amazing sponsors of this year's gala. Your support and commitment to the CGLCC and to our community is unwavering. And thank you to every one of our corporate and government partners who have continued to stand by us, especially during these crazy times. I want to thank the amazing partners that we work with to further advance opportunities for every diverse entrepreneur and business. To our Supplier Diversity Alliance Canada partners, CAMSI, WBE Canada, and IWSCC, and to We Connect International and CCAB, thank you for the work that you do every single day to ensure that our diverse business community has the access and opportunities they deserve, and for helping to create a truly inclusive Canadian economy. To our partners at Tourism HR Canada, I truly value our partnership and the work that we are doing to support Canada's tourism industry. To my board, thank you for your dedication to building a strong organization and for trusting me to lead it. I want to give a special acknowledgement to our recently retired board members, Al Ramsey and Benji Nickham, and to Catherine Gross, who will be stepping down at the start of December. To our co-founder, Bruce, you've continued to pour your passion and love into this chamber, and for that, I'm eternally grateful. To my team, Dale, Colleen, Leah, Kyle, Paige, Ryan, and Gandhi, you are some of the most passionate people that I have ever had the opportunity to work with, and I'm so privileged to get to work with you every single day. These are the people behind this organization. They are the ones making a difference for our LGBT business community. And finally, I want to thank each of you for taking this past hour and a half plus to spend with us this evening or afternoon or morning, depending on where you are in the world. Because with all of your support, we're able to do what we set out to do, create positive change for the LGBT plus community. Now the formal part of this evening is finished, but the party is just getting going. So grab another cocktail and join us on Zoom for our after party with DJ Ace. And don't forget, the silent auction is open till 9:30 Eastern. Thank you and have a great, sorry, I guess Martha has one more thing she'd like to say. Martha?
I just want to say thank you to everyone and something really important. The best